All right, let's dive into one of history's most, well, stomach-turning beauty secrets. But it's also scientifically brilliant. We're talking about the ancient Romans and how they got those gleaming white smiles using something you would never, ever guess. Seriously, let's get right into it. So I want you to picture the Roman Empire for a second. You've got the grand architecture, right? The powerful legions, and then you have these citizens with these really bright, confident smiles. But how? I mean, they didn't have fluoride or modern toothpaste. Forget about electric toothbrushes. Their secret was, well, let's just say it was a lot more organic. You know, we tend to think of pearly white teeth as this modern obsession, something that comes from advanced chemistry squeezed out of a tube. But the Romans? They had their own kind of advanced chemistry going on. The difference is, their solution didn't come from a fancy lab. It came from a simple clay pot. And here it is. The secret ingredient to that brilliant Roman smile was aged human urine. Yeah, as a mouthwash. I'm gonna let that sink in for a second. Because I know it sounds completely and utterly revolting, but believe it or not, there's a fascinating scientific reason why this actually really worked. Okay, so this is the part of the story where we pivot from gross to genius. Seriously, because the Romans were, when you think about it, accidental chemists. They just watched a natural process unfold, and then they figured out how to put it to work, turning, everyday waste into a really powerful cleaning agent. So how does this work? The chemistry is actually surprisingly simple. See, fresh urine has a compound in it called urea, and when you just let it sit out for a while, it ferments. Bacteria get to work and break that urea down, and the end product is ammonia. And ammonia, that's the key to this whole thing. It's a powerful natural bleaching agent. I mean, even today, you'll find it in a ton of household cleaners, right? That's because it's amazing at breaking down grease, getting rid of organic stains, and just whitening surfaces. The Romans, without even knowing the specific chemistry, were harnessing one of nature's best cleaners for their teeth. And you've got to get this. This wasn't just some weird fringe habit a few people had. No way. Urine was so valuable that it was actually nicknamed liquid gold. It became a taxable commodity that fueled whole industries. They created this incredibly sophisticated economy based entirely on recycling, well, human waste. We can even put a date on this. Around 70 AD, you have Emperor Vespasian. He desperately needed to fill up the state's treasury after a nasty civil war. So what does he do? He puts a tax on the urine collected from Rome's public urinals. And these places weren't just, restrooms. They were basically state-run supply centers. So the story goes, his own son, Titus, complained to him that the tax was disgusting. And Vespasian, in this legendary move, holds a coin up to his son's nose and says, "Pecunia non olet," which means, money does not stink. And look, this wasn't just a witty comeback. It was a literal statement of his economic policy. And here's why that tax brought in so much money. That ammonia from the aged urine was absolutely essential. You had textile workers, the fullers, using it to clean and whiten wool togas. Leather tanners used it to soften animal hides. And yeah, of course, regular citizens were using it as mouthwash. It was this incredible all-purpose industrial chemical, and the supply was, well, endless. Okay, and it gets even weirder. The market for this stuff was so developed that there were different levels of quality. Some Roman writers actually claimed that the very best, most potent urine for cleaning was imported all the way from what we now call Portugal. Can you just imagine that? A bustling market for premium, vintage, imported urine. All right, so let's just try to push past that initial ew factor for a second. What if we reframe this whole thing? Instead of seeing it as this totally revolting habit, what if we see it as an incredibly resourceful piece of ancient ingenuity? I mean, our first reaction is pretty simple. It's gross, it's unsanitary, right? But if you shift your perspective, you start to see something completely different. It was resourceful. It was based on a real, observable scientific process. And it was incredibly economical. Think about it. They took a public health problem, human waste, and turned it into an economic solution. When you really break it down, what the Romans pulled off here is pretty impressive. They basically identified a chemical reaction, they harnessed a powerful compound, they built an entire recycling economy around it, and then they applied that science directly to personal care. That's pretty amazing. At the end of the day, they were just really practical chemists. They didn't have modern labs with microscopes and beakers, but what they did have were incredible powers of observation. They saw a simple cause and effect. Hey, when this stuff gets old, it cleans things really well. And then they just scaled that idea up to an industrial level. Now, let's be real. Just because the science was solid doesn't mean it was, pleasant. Not at all. This, we'll call it the scent of progress. It's a direct line from the Roman chamber pot to our modern dental labs. It's a good reminder that the path of human ingenuity isn't always a clean one. I mean, just try to imagine what this was actually like. Every day, rinsing your mouth with fermented urine, the sharp sting of the ammonia on your gums, and that overpowering smell. It must have taken a serious amount of commitment to stick with that routine. So that brings us to the really big question, right? If it was so awful, why on earth was this practice so common for centuries? Well, the answer isn't in the chemistry. It's in the culture. See, for the Romans, appearance was, well, everything. Having a clean toga and bright white teeth wasn't just about vanity. It was a public signal. It told everyone about your social status, your personal discipline, and your place as a civilized Roman citizen. A dull smile? That suggested you were neglectful. So they used the best tool they had to keep up appearances, no matter how gross it was.
And that brings us right back to today. The next time you squeeze that minty fresh toothpaste onto your brush, maybe just take a second, a quick moment of gratitude for how far we've come. I mean, we still use powerful chemicals to whiten our teeth, but thankfully, we've dramatically improved the delivery system.
When you get right down to it, the story of Roman urine mouthwash is just this powerful reminder. It shows us that innovation, that scientific discovery, it can pop up in the most unexpected and, frankly, the most disgusting of places. What we look at and call bizarre was, to them, just practical. It's a great reminder that sometimes the spark of progress is absolutely real. It just happens to come with a very, very strong smell. Thanks for joining me.